Hi everyone, I am Dr. Peiris. Today I am going to explain you about the domain and range of quadratic functions. So let's see what are the topics that I am going to cover in this lecture. First I will explain you what are the different forms of quadratic functions and then how to find the domain and the range of a quadratic function. So we know there are two forms of quadratic functions. The first one is the standard form. So the standard form is given in this form: f of x equals a times x minus h squared plus k. And if it is in this form, we know that the vertex is h comma k. And all the a, h and k are real numbers. A cannot be equal to 0. And the general form of the quadratic function is given as this: f of x equals ax squared plus bx plus c. So both forms represent quadratic functions. So we can relate the h in terms of a, b and c. So the h is equal to minus b over 2a. This is the x coordinate of the vertex. H equals minus b over 2a. And now if we know the x coordinate, we can substitute this in the given equation to find the k. So with that we can find the vertex. Now these two are the two different forms of quadratic functions. Now if you look at the two forms, we can see what could be the domain and the range. So if you look at the equation, so there is no restriction on the x. It is just x square term and x. There is no restriction on the x. So there is no restriction the values that you can substitute in for the x, which means, so for the quadratic function, the domain is all real numbers. So the domain is all real numbers for any quadratic function, which means the domain goes from minus infinity to positive infinity. So that's the domain, minus infinity to positive infinity. Now depending on if the parabola are going to open upward or downward, we will have a different range. So this is an example of a parabola which opens upward. So if the constant a is greater than 0, the parabola open upward, and in that case there is a minimum point which is the vertex. So this is the minimum point or the minimum value for the y, and then the y values keep increasing, so the y values go to infinity. So which means the range is from k to infinity. K is the y coordinate of the vertex. K is the y coordinate of the vertex. So the lowest value for the y that we can have is that k. That is the k, and then the function is increasing, which means the y values go to infinity. So the range is k to infinity. And why there is a square bracket for the k? Because the k is on the function, that is the minimum value. So the value of the k is included in the range. And now this is the case when the parabola opens downward. So in this case we have a maximum. Here is the maximum, so the vertex corresponds to the maximum value of the parabola. So the y values, basically these go to negative infinity. So the y values going from negative infinity to this maximum value, which is k. So the range is minus infinity to k. Again, it's a square bracket for the k because the value of the k is within the function. Now let's see a few examples to find out how to find the range. So as I said before, the domain is all real numbers from minus infinity to positive infinity. Now let's see these few examples to learn how to find the range. So first we need to understand where the vertex is, or what is the vertex, and is the parabola going to up or down. So to find the vertex, we need to know what are the coefficients of the given quadratic function. So the ABC for this one, a is 1, b is 2, c is negative 1. A equals 1, b equals 2, c is negative 1. Now we can find the h, which is the x coordinate of the vertex, is equal to minus b over 2a. So we substitute these values here to find the h. Minus b is 2 divided by 2 times a, which is 1. So negative 2 divided by 2 is equal to negative 1. So the h is equal to negative 1. to find the vertex or to find the value of the k, that is what we need to write down the range. So to find the k, we substitute the value that we found for h. So h equals -1. So this is going to be substituted for x, because this is the x coordinate of the vertex. So by substituting the x coordinate in here, we can find the corresponding y coordinate. This is basically the k. So the k is equal to f of -1, which means we are substituting x equals -1. -1 squared plus 2 times -1 minus 1. So x equals -1 was substituted here. Then you simplify this to find out the answer. So this is 1 minus 2 minus 1, which is -2. So this is -2. So the k value is -2. And let's look at the value of the a, which is 1. So that is greater than 0. So the parabola opens upward. So this is the parabola, open upwards, and the vertex we found h comma k -1 comma -2. So which means the range is what? -2 to infinity. Range is -2 to infinity. This is the range of the quadratic function for this particular question. Let's see another one. So for this one, the value of the a is 2, b is -4, c is 5. A equals 2, b -4, c equals 5. And again we find the h, the x coordinate of the vertex. It's minus b over 2a equals minus b is -4. 2 times a equals 2. So positive 4 over 4 is 1. H is equal to 1. To find the k, we substitute x equals 1 in the given equation. So f of 1, because we found the h equals 1, which means we are looking for f of 1. So 2 times 1 squared minus 4 times 1 plus 5. So if we simplify this, this is 2 minus 4 plus 5 equal to 3. So we found the h comma k as 1 comma 3, and the value of the a is equal to 2, which is greater than 0. So the parabola opens upward like this, and here is the vertex 1 comma 3. Vertex is 1 comma 3. So which means the range is from 3 to infinity. 3 to infinity, and the 3 has a square bracket because that is within the range. And another one. So in this case, a equals -1, b is 4, c is -3. A -1, b 4, c is -3. Then we find h minus b over 2a. Minus b is 4. 2 times a is -1. -4 divided by -2 is 2. So that is the h. This is the x coordinate of the vertex. To find the y coordinate, we substitute the value of the h into f of x. So x is equal to 2. Minus 2 squared plus 4 times 2 minus 3. So we substitute x equals 2 in this equation. So this one, the minus sign is outside, so that must be kept as that. -2 is outside. So this is 2 squared is 4 times a negative sign is -4. 4 times 2 is 8 minus 3. So this answer is equal to +1. So it's the k equals 1, h is equal to 2. Now in this case, the value of the a is negative. A equals -1, which is less than a 0. So the parabola opens downward. Parabola opens downward, and the vertex is at 2 comma 1. So which means the range is -infinity to 1, which is the y coordinate. So the range is -infinity to 1. This is the range of this quadratic function. So this is how we find the range. So again, the domain is all real numbers for any quadratic function, -infinity to +infinity. and the range all the time depends on the coefficients a, b, c. So you first need to find the h and then find the corresponding k, and depending on the value of the a, you decide is the parabola going to open up or down, and then do a small sketch like this. Then you can see how the range looks like. So for example, in this one, the function goes to negative infinity, so the minimum value is minus infinity and the maximum value is 1, including 1. So including 1, that is why the square bracket is. So that's all for today for this lecture, everyone. So please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Dr. Peiris Classroom, as well as visit my website drpeirisclassroom.com. You can see all the YouTube videos at one place if you visit my website, and it is more convenient to use the website to locate the required lectures. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll meet you again with another video. Bye.